Let's get the lighting a little bit better because lighting looks like shit. There we go. Got my hard hat on. Ready to tell you guys some shit. And let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain. The trades right now. Get my microphone. Microphone working? Mic check. Mic check. I assume it's working. Okay. So the trades right now. It's the gold rush. It's the fucking gold rush, but nobody knows about it. NSNBC, all the fucking news network, they're gonna find out about this like 4 or 5 years later. I'm giving you a heads up because I'm on the ground floor looking at the shit right now. And there's been little rumblings, but the trades is a gold rush right now. It's a fucking gold rush. If you get in now, you can get in early. Like this is like the Bitcoin back when Bitcoin was like $1. I'm telling you, if you get into the trades right now, you're gonna be like your $1 is gonna X to $10,000 in the next 10 to 20 years. I promise you this. I can assure you. And here's why. Here's why. I'm going to assure you this because there are like 5 reasons why the gold rush is going to be in the trades. Reason number 1, and let me show you guys something that's going to alarm you, that's going to shock you. Let me bring up my other screen. Bring this over here. Present. Share screen. Window. Here we go. So the average age of a trade worker is 40. Well, the average age, they're 40 plus years old. 68% of the trade people are 48 years old, which means in the next 10, like, I don't know if you guys know what average means. What the fuck? That was scary. I don't know if you guys know what average means, but average essentially means there's the bell curve. The average person in the middle is 40 years old, 68%, which means it's really shaded over more to the right, where the grand majority of people are retiring from trades. And if you look at this, 7% are 20 or 30 years old, which means we have no new people coming into the trades, which means all these 68 people are going to be gone in the next 10 to 20 years. Gone. Just not existed. They're going to be off retired somewhere, which means 32%. There's only be 32% of the workforce. So nearly 70% of the workforce is going to be reduced in trades, which means if you understand supply and demand, most people, there's not going to be a lot of tradespeople, which means you're going to be way more valuable to society. And since this is an essential work order thing, because you need people to do electricity, you need people to do plumbing, that these are necessities. If there's no plumbing, that means people die. There's no electricity, people die. If there's no carpentry, there's no houses built. There's nobody renovating shit. So when shit breaks down, there's nobody to fix it. And if there's nobody to fix it, that means there's going to be higher bidding for people to come and do it. Which means if you get into the trades now, you get your license, because it takes about 4 to 5 years to get your license. Once you get your license, you're a made man. You can go do whatever the fuck you want to do anywhere in the country for max dollars, because they have to get you. Like, they're building a new Walmart, they're building a new Target, they're building a new stadium. Anything they're building, they have to get you. If they don't have the people, the job doesn't get done, and then people lose money because that time is valuable. So they're willing to pay whatever they got to pay to get the people to do it, which means you're going to make a grip load of money. And that's just major industry shit. We're not even talking about like residential. I went to a guy's house the other day, and this guy told me he had 30 phone calls. He's backed up by 20 calls. He's already backed up on 20 jobs, and he got 30 calls that day for work. And he has to start raising his prices because he doesn't have enough manpower to get to do all these jobs, which means he's making guap. Stupid fucking guap. He's not even good at the business. You don't have to be good at business because people need to fucking take his services. Who are these fucking people? Oh my God, I'm tired of people walking around. These lazy ass kids. So if you do the math, let me make that fucking big. 60%. Do you see that? 60%. 68. You go down. Average age of the trade worker, 41.7. Which means there's nobody there. Which means you're going to make a lot of money if you do this shit. And that brings me to my next point, which is this is like, oh my God, it's such a beautiful time right now. Because the infrastructure in America is falling apart. See, we built all these things in America back when we had a lot of tradespeople, and we just assumed more people would keep coming to the trades, and all these people got to work. And there was actually shortages, like they had to fire people because there was too many guys. Now there's not enough guys. So we have all these freeways, buildings, things that need to be renovated, old houses that need to be torn down, rebuilt. And there's nobody to do it. We're basically surviving right now off of Mexican labor. Like if I go to a trade job, when I go to any of these trade jobs, 90% of the people there are Hispanic that speak Spanish primarily. There's no Americans. And if you're a black American, oh my God, you're going to fucking kill it. You're going to fucking kill it because it's less than, the average employed tradesman is 45 years old. 45. Do you understand? And even though they say Hispanic and Latino, in most major cities, it's basically is Latino. Like maybe you live in like in Alaska or somewhere where there's only white people, yeah. And don't pay attention to these numbers that say the average wage. That's what they're taking in like apprentices. But if we're talking about journeyman, a journeyman makes about if I can look up what journeyman pay for an electrician. You make about, that's not real, 2023, 40. No, that's not correct. It's not $23 an hour. I got a piece of paper that shows me the pay scale. Journeyman electricity, they're making about $35 an hour. So if you do the math on that, $35 an hour, it's really like $45 an hour. But after all your benefits and everything get taken out, it's $35 an hour. So 35 times 40, 1,400 a week, times that by 4, 5,600 times that by 12, $67,000. And that's only if you're working just the 40-hour week. Most of the time, you're going to do overtime. And that overtime is typically going to bring you up to about fucking almost $80,000 a year. Just to show up to a job and do like basic work. And since you're already the journeyman, like you're unfireable because there's not a lot of you guys. You guys don't really exist. So like the average gets brought down because they count other like apprentices, because apprentices you start off like 17 an hour. But there's so much fucking money in this shit. And that's not even including part-time work that you can do, side hustle shit. Like you can go put up a ceiling fan. Like look up the average pay for a ceiling fan. Put a ceiling fan up, which is very simple. You just basically get 2 wires, you wrap it around together, put a little thing on it, tie it up, zip it up. It takes about 20 minutes to do. A ceiling fan. Ceiling fan install cost can cost you anywhere from $50 to $300. So say somebody has a ceiling fan in their house, they have 2 or 3 in their house. That's $150 just if you're doing the bare minimum. And if we count the calculator, just say like just on ceiling fans alone, say you got like after you get done with work, you get like 4 or 5 ceiling fans a week. 500 a week. Times that by 4. That's the extra $2,000 in your pocket. Times that by 12. You just made an extra $24,000 doing something that takes literally about 20 minutes to do, if that. And that's so much more money. That's not even counting TV mounts. There's so many different ways that you can expand and getting money. You could be an in-home handyman. There's so many fucking things that you can do in this trade shit, and you're gonna make a ridiculous amount of money. And that comes to my third part. You should probably get into the trades and learn how to do basic construction shit, because most people, you're not gonna be able to afford man labor shit. So like anything that has to do with just like doing basic construction things, like things that only men can really do proficiently, because it requires strength and a certain amount of skill, mainly just the strength aspect, the average person not going to be paid. So car mechanics, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, drywall people, anybody that's doing like gutters, anything that's like just basic man labor shit, you're going to make a stupid killing because there's nobody there to do it. And the price is only going to go up because those guys are going to be busy. So now you can start charging whatever you want to charge, and people have to pay it. Like you can't not have your car not working. You have to have your car working. So if you need somebody to fix your car, they can tell you, well, shit, it's going to cost you fucking $4,000 to get a radiator done. Your options are either get a radiator or buy a new car. Which one are you going to do? You don't really have an option. So that's what I'm saying. Like these certain jobs, they're so fucking like necessity based that you're going to make money from it. There's almost no way. There's almost no way to lose. And it's going to be like this for a minute because it's going to take a minute. Like I almost think America might have to start conscripting people, taking guys out of school and forcing them to go into trades just to fucking keep up with the labor demand. Because it's almost like an army. Like when you really think about the trade force, the workforce is really like an army-based thing. If you don't have anybody to do this, like your infrastructure in America falls apart. This is a national security problem. And like also, like you look at like linemen. Like I don't know if anybody ever heard what a lineman is. These are the guys that work on like telephone poles. These motherfuckers make a ridiculous amount of money. Now it's a very dangerous occupation, but if you look at lineman pay, $77,000, $96,000, $100,000, IBEW linemen, all these fucking linemen make a ridiculous amount of money because there's nobody to do it. Nobody. They don't have enough people to do it. The highest paid guys, they make such a ridiculous amount of money. So I'm trying to tell you, if you're a young man that's in shape, you have a good body, you have a decent mind, you're coachable, you're going to make a killing. If you got a good attitude, because the grand majority of people are also out of shape, supremely out of shape if you look at the average trade guy. So if you come in shape, that means you're going to be able to work. And if you stay in shape, you're going to be able to work forever. And they have to pay you. There's nobody else to do the job. They have to give you the money because nobody else is going to be able to do it. If nobody else can do it, this shit goes bad. It goes haywire. And this brings me to my 4th point. The women you're going to start to attract. Because women flock to power. They flock to money and they flock to power. So women are going to start flocking to handymen because they need a handyman because they can't afford to not have one. So all the guys who are making big money in tech, yeah, that's great. But when the car breaks down, when the electricity goes out, when all this shit starts going bad in the house, they're going to have to find a guy that can do it. And if you're a guy that can do it, you bring so much value to a relationship. Like you now control a relationship. Doesn't matter what she does for a living. At the end of the day, she still needs somebody to open the cookie jar for her. And as a handyman myself, I do handyman stuff. I'm making damn near $200, $300 a day on the weekends, or sometimes even $500 to $1,000. My biggest day was like $1,000 a day. Just putting televisions up. Putting curtains up, because people can't do it. They're not good with a power drill. Surprising the most. Most people are not very good with power drill. So they need these people. They need these type of guys to come in and do this work. And if you can do that work, you're going to make a killing. And the last and the most important thing, the job security. AI is never going to be able to do. Let me see. AI. See, all AI is going to be able to do is going to be able to help you in the trade field. See, a lot of people don't understand about robotics. These robots need humans to be able to make sure they're upkeep. And robots also can't deal with the shit show, which is called the trades work. If you ever go to a construction yard, it's a shit show. It's crazy. It's madness at all times. There's a bunch of climbing. And robots are going to need a human being to even sit there and be able to do that. Because some of these things you have to, it requires high dexterity of hands, perceptual knowledge, and there's a lot of unpredictability. There's a lot of things that are breaking, falling apart. You got to move ladders. There's so much variables. And the other reason why it's so safe from the job is because most trade people are not good at robotics, and most robotics people don't have any idea what happens in the trade field. So the idea that a robot's going to be able to go in there and be able to do trade shit is almost impossible. AI is not going to be able to program that. Like you need a human level of you'll need human level of proficiency for a robot to be able to actually complete these jobs. And the chances are robots are not going to be there anytime soon. And what I think is more likely, like they say here, augmented and virtual reality, the chances are there'll have to be a trades guy controlling a robot from a remote distance to be able to control the robot, which means the trade guy is still getting paid. Like the trades are not going to go anywhere. Like there's There's no way for the robots to be able to do these jobs. The only thing now, here's what's going to happen. AI is actually going to help the trades guys make more money. Because if whoever learns how to combine robotics, coding, and all that shit into the trades, be a billionaire, maybe a trillionaire, to be honest with you. And that's what I'm going to do because I came from a tech background. So I'm going to be a billionaire. Mark my words, 10 years, I'm going to be a fucking billionaire because I understand tech. Most trades guys, they start off at 18 and all they do is trade shit. So they never actually learn any other skill outside of just the fucking trades. If you're actually a smart guy that comes from the tech field, you come into the trades, you're going to be rich forever. So I'm telling you right now, if you don't have any direction in life, you know what you want to do, get into the trades, go make this easy money, and go enjoy life. Let's see, get out of this thing. Appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, man, get your hard hats, get your fucking yellow vest, and go get that bread.